Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including delivery delays affecting Model 3s and Ys, overall demand for EVs growing, new Tesla software features on the way, Tesla officially expanding an existing factory, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla's referral program has been in place for quite some time. It has gone through many phases, with early referrals earning you things as crazy as a free Tesla Roadster if you had enough. A few people earned as many as 2 free Roadsters, which should still be delivered to those customers when Tesla eventually brings that to market, but the most recent version of that program involved a reward that included free supercharging miles. You would refer someone to buy a Tesla, they would get 1,000 free supercharger miles, and so would you. As Tesla's demand has increased consistently, they ended up stopping this part of the program, giving no incentive to use a referral code when buying a Tesla vehicle. The referral incentive for Solar Roof still existed though, giving referrers a cash reward if they refer someone. Tesla was rumored to be revamping their referral program for vehicles, with Electrek saying, quote, Tesla plans to eliminate referral links, which owners often spam on social media, and instead turn to an app-based referral program promoting in-person referrals. But that still has not come. Now though, they are tweaking the referral program for solar, reducing the previous reward of $500 for solar roof referrals. Their website now says, quote, friends and family who order through your referral link can earn $300 for solar roof or solar panels upon permission to operate, while also reducing reliance on the grid and producing clean solar energy. You will earn $300 for each solar roof or solar panels referral. Over time, Tesla has cut back on this program a lot, and it makes sense. It got to the point where people were already deciding to buy a Tesla and wanted to add free supercharging miles to their order. From the customer's view, it was a benefit you could add on when buying a Tesla, but from Tesla's view, it was spending a lot on free miles that weren't actually selling any more cars. Next up today, Tesla always seems to be in the news for recalls and safety. People seem to think that Teslas are more dangerous to use or more dangerous to get in an accident with, when the opposite is the case. Tesla continuously gets the highest possible safety ratings in official tests, but they also talk often about their own autopilot data. For instance, they post accident data typically each quarter, and for Q4 2021, they said, quote, in the fourth quarter, we recorded 1 crash for every 4.31 million miles driven in which drivers were using autopilot technology, auto steer, and active safety features. For drivers who were not using autopilot technology, no auto steer and active safety features, we recorded 1 crash for every 1.59 million miles driven. By comparison, NHTSA's most recent data shows that in the United States, there is an automobile crash every 484,000 miles. These comparisons get criticized since autopilot is largely used on freeways and many accidents occur off the freeway, which means they aren't directly comparing the exact situations, but new independent data seems to be illustrating similar when controlled by the driver. Cambridge Mobile Telematics collects telematics data from millions of vehicles and released findings in a study of how behaviors and safety change for electric vehicle drivers compared with driving another vehicle. They found that EV drivers are much less likely to crash in their EV than other vehicles. Ryan McMahon, the VP of Strategy for CMT, said, quote, among the most compelling new findings are the comparisons between drivers who operate both an electric vehicle and an internal combustion vehicle, allowing for a better understanding of risk across vehicle platforms. These findings include an analysis of Tesla drivers who also operate another vehicle. These drivers are nearly 50% less likely to crash while driving their Tesla than any other vehicle they operate. We conducted the same analysis on individuals who operate a Porsche and another vehicle. In this case, we observed the opposite effect. Porsche drivers are 55% more likely to crash while driving their Porsche compared to their other vehicle. As always, there are many factors, but one statistic that may surprise many is that, quote, Teslas were 21% less likely to engage in distracted driving with their phone in their Tesla compared to when they drove their other car. Some assume the opposite since autopilot can be abused in this way. Teslas are also very fast, leading many to assume that they always want to speed, but, quote, they were 9% less likely to drive above the speed limit. One theory that this company has as to why this occurs is less supported by data but seems reasonable. McMahon said, quote, another factor could be the required stops for recharging electric cars. Accidents are more likely on longer trips, but Tesla drivers have to stop and recharge more frequently and for a longer time than gas car drivers stop to refuel. That could create safer conditions for drivers because of fatigue. Longer trips are riskier, but there are breaks in the trip from an EV that require people to stop. That's one benefit to needing to charge more often that I'd guess most haven't truly considered. This appears to be general vehicle vehicle data and they didn't account specifically for how autopilot impacts the safety, but it very well could be a contributor. In any case, it's great to see data showing how safe Teslas are coming from a third party. Next up today, we have seen tons of delays from Tesla over the past few years, and these are coming from a wide variety of sources. Recent delays of vehicles getting produced at Giga Shanghai come from that factory shutting down entirely for around 3 weeks. Still, as they have ramped back up, they are facing supply shortages. These, along with battery supply shortages and the chip shortage, have all been a theme in the past couple of years that have affected the entire industry. Tesla has managed to navigate them fairly well, but customers are getting frustrated at their delivery times being pretty unreliable still. Tesla gives you an estimated delivery date in the app after ordering, and the Model X has been especially bad this year. Some customers are waiting as much as 2 years between ordering and their estimated delivery date. Similar is starting to happen with the Model 3 and Y, Tesla's most popular and prioritized vehicles. Another factor for these delays is simply Tesla getting production going at new factories to catch up on increasing demand. Elon Musk has even recently said that they may stop taking orders of certain products with lead times over a year. In the past, Tesla has navigated issues by rewriting firmware to utilize multiple chip suppliers, or even delivering cars with missing features to be fixed at service appointments. The latter is not a good strategy, but now Tesla is facing a supply shortage that they can't get around, a part in the charge port. Multiple owners in the Tesla Motors Club forum are reporting that their Tesla has been built but can't be delivered due to the missing charging port electronic control unit, or ECU. Multiple owners are reporting that their vehicle VIN is assigned, some have even paid, and their cars are simply waiting at various service centers to be fixed and then delivered. Some were worried about the battery packs since they were charged up for delivery and now are just sitting, sometimes for weeks, without being charged. This is not what Tesla recommends for battery care, and these are brand new, yet to be delivered vehicles. One particular buyer said, quote, "My issue now is I have a VIN assigned vehicle that was last charged on 4/19, sitting at a service center exposed to the elements without any type of ETA for the missing part. Meanwhile, Fremont is pushing out cars and has the parts in stock. It seems like they've forgotten about our cars and we are just waiting indefinitely for when Tesla decides to send them the parts. I'm actively making the payments on the vehicle, large down payment paid on 4/28 and nothing to show for it." This was a particular situation where they funded through a credit union, so this isn't the normal situation for every buyer, but it doesn't excuse Tesla's delays here. It must be a fairly large issue for Tesla to ship out to service centers instead of waiting to fix these things at the factory. Hopefully it can be solved soon. This is definitely not a good buying experience for customers at all, and the communication when things like this happen is one of Tesla's weakest areas. Next up today, one of the best features of a Tesla is that you get regular software updates. These bring improvements to the vehicle overall and can really improve a lot of things over time to all customers at no charge. Some improvements are very obvious on screen, while others have to do with deep calculations or predictions. Tesla version 2022.16.0.2 is being released right now and bringing a few new features. First is something small but effective. Spotify accounts linked to the vehicle can be instead linked to driver profiles. This means that for each person that drives the car, when they enter the car, it will automatically change to their own login for the Spotify account. This is very handy and is something that I've wanted to see for quite some time. If my wife drives my car, she can immediately have access to her collection of music on screen instead of mine. The next feature they are adding is more significant and will help a lot in easing range anxiety when on longer drives. Tesla tweeted saying, quote, "Tesla navigation will now take predicted crosswind, headwind, humidity, and temperature into account for calculating battery percentage on arrival. This is in addition to current factors, predicted speed, HVAC use, elevation changes, current temperature, and route/distance. I had a pretty extreme example of this when road tripping to Las Vegas in our Model 3. The wind was so intense that there was a wind advisory and our charging predictions were changing throughout the trip as the car kept predicting more range than it could achieve, given the wind. Now it looks like this will be factored in, and while it will show a lower range number on screen and surely scare some owners as to why their range is so low, it will realistically get you where you need to go. This will help significantly to ease range anxiety. Those features are releasing right now, but there are a couple of great features that we could see very soon as well. When asked, quote, "May we get the ability to have the windows to close automatically if the Tesla detects rain and the windows are open while parked?" Elon Musk responded, "Sure." Usually a response of sure means that there's a good chance we see that feature in 6 months to a year, perhaps in their annual holiday update this time around. Another new feature that I'd argue would be one of the biggest software upgrades Tesla could ship in this car came with someone asking about Tesla's sound system. Tesla's sound system is fantastic, but for many it is limited to Spotify streaming or Bluetooth quality. Tidal has been added on screen where you can offline download hi-fi music, and you can hear a difference there. But someone asked, quote, "The speaker system in Teslas are so good good, but we are limited by the quality of Bluetooth. Could we have AirPlay added? It adds the ability for lossless streaming. The hardware necessary is already there. Elon Musk responded to this saying, quote, "We'll discuss this and other improvements with Tesla audio engineering. The new Model S and X sound system is incredible." This is a much more involved implementation, but it would allow you to stream music at much higher quality from devices supporting AirPlay. I would love to see this come to be, perhaps in the holiday update, as it would take great advantage of not only the new Model S and X sound systems, but all of Tesla's great sound systems included in vehicle. Next up today, we've been talking about demand for Tesla's vehicles and how it continues to grow each day. Tesla is navigating production issues, but at the same time, a new survey is showing how many people want electric cars. It might be more than you expect. The latest EY Mobility Consumer Index shows that, quote, "While overall levels of travel reported remain lower when compared to the pre-2020 benchmark, the number of consumers who say constant access to a personal car is very important to them is rising, and for the first time, more than half of those surveyed, 52% who intend to buy a car, say they intend to choose either a fully electric, plug-in hybrid, or hybrid vehicle. People want some form of an electric car, even if it's not fully electric yet." They surveyed 13,000 people in 18 countries and found that 74% in Italy, 69% in China, and 63% in South Korea are committed to buying a form of an EV. Australia and the US are the least committed, with 38% and 29% respectively. Regarding how willing people are to pay up for an EV, quote, "The survey also shows that 88% of consumers are willing to pay more for an EV, and 35% are willing to pay a premium of 20% or more, in keeping with the MCI 2021 survey's findings." Range anxiety is changing as well, with second-time EV buyers saying that EVs now have longer ranges. Of EV owners who they surveyed, only 27% of them have range anxiety, and only 36% of those without an EV worry about range. Randy Miller, the EY Global Advanced Manufacturing and Mobility leader, said, quote, "The old issues of worrying about charging infrastructure and the range of EVs will soon come to an end. We know that the vast majority of journeys are relatively short, and as charging infrastructure continues to grow and battery quality continues to increase, we will start to see these concerns fade. It is also clear that those who own EVs know this already." This data doesn't cover everything, but it's very encouraging for the future of EVs. People are less worried about range since EVs are coming out with longer ranges, and people are willing to pay up to go electric. Additionally, over 50% are considering an EV of some form for their next vehicle. It's still fairly low for those committed to fully electric overall, though, and the US is the most scared of going electric. A big part of this could be helped with future charging infrastructure, and may end up being especially helped by Tesla opening up their supercharger network in the future. Next up today, supply and demand continues to be the biggest story for electric vehicles, tracing all the way back to the raw materials used in the batteries that power them. For raw materials, prices have been rising lately, but Goldman Sachs believes that price drops are in order. Analysts said, quote, "Investors are fully aware that battery metals will play a crucial role in the 21st century global economy. Yet despite this exponential demand profile, we see the battery metals bull market as over for now." They expect a drop in prices of cobalt, lithium, and nickel in the next 2 years. For cobalt, they expect it to drop to an average of $59,500 a ton in a year, down from $80,000 today. For nickel, they expect it to be lower over time, but rise nearly 20% this year to $36,500 a ton. For lithium, they expect it to be at an average price of right around $16,000 a ton in 2023, down from $54,000 a ton this year. They expect these to occur, but then prices to soar again after 2024. Quote, "This phase of oversupply will ultimately sow the seeds of the battery materials supercycle over the second half of this decade. Then after that, they expect that the, quote, demand surge will more sustainably overcome current supply growth." Tesla has foreseen a lot of this, and it's why we continue to see them announcing battery deals regularly. For production itself, Tesla has moved officially to expand Giga Berlin, which has only recently started production. A local paper reports that Tesla has officially submitted an expansion application at their new Berlin factory. Quote, "The municipality of Grünheide has submitted an application to initiate a B-plan procedure in the immediate vicinity of the current 300 hectares. Reports are saying the approval for this expansion should go through, but like last time, the true official approval could take up to a year. That's likely why Tesla is already initiating an expansion right after opening this factory. Over in Shanghai, which was closed for 3 weeks, new reports say that Tesla is already at 70% of their pre-closure output. Tesla added a second shift of workers last week, and this is expected to increase output further this coming week. It will still be some time before Giga Shanghai is 100% operational as it was prior to the shutdown, but it's ramping up very impressively. Last up today, a few updates about other automakers. NIO is reportedly hiring a number of positions related to manufacturing vehicles in in the US. This suggests that they may be planning to build and sell their compelling and popular electric vehicles in the United States in the future. This would be big competition for Tesla and any companies making EVs in the future. Delorean just released first images of their all-electric Alpha5. The official unveil will happen on August 18th. Technically, Delorean is an entirely new company from the old one, but they partnered with the same design firm that worked on the original DeLorean for this car. There are only a couple similarities to the original DeLorean. Specs released for this all-electric DeLorean Alpha5 will get an estimated 0 to 60 in 2.99 seconds, 0 to 88 in 4.35 seconds, 300 miles of range on a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, and top speed of 155 miles per hour. Apparently, they may have a faster version in the works as well. Over at Lucid, as they are in the process of ramping their Air sedan, they are now facing a recall. Reportedly, this is a recall for unsecured wires on 2022 Air vehicles that could cause the displays to turn off. Lucid said, quote, "Lucid is recalling certain model year 2022 Lucid Air vehicles because of the possibility that the wiring connection to the instrument panel may not have been secured properly during assembly. This recall applies to 1,117 vehicles that have been delivered to customers, and it is estimated that the defect is present on 1% of cars." Over at Rivian, also in the ramping process, they are reportedly reorganizing some leadership. They just lost their head of manufacturing engineering in the middle of the R1T ramp. Hopefully, this will only help things long term for them, but time will tell. Both Lucid and Rivian are in the toughest parts of the production process, and I'm absolutely rooting for both of them. That's all the latest Tesla news for today. So in the meantime, if you want to see the full review of my Model 3 after 1 year of ownership, you can check that out linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.